This is Valley News Live at 5.
Of this magnitude, it's been a while since we've had one of this magnitude.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Stacy Van Dyke. Two people are lucky to be alive tonight. They had to jump from a second-story window as a fire engulfed their home. Our Valley News team was the first on the scene. JC Dodd brings us our story.
Flames fully engulfed this house south of Moorhead just before 8 this morning.
You hate to come to something like this.
An hour later, reduced to ash. Authorities ruling it a total loss. Sheriff Empting says two people escaped the fire by jumping from a second-story window. They were taken to a local hospital with minor injuries from the life-saving jump. The family's pets weren't so lucky. Most did not survive the fire. The only one still alive is this dog, who our photojournalist found wandering the property. He took shelter in our station vehicle before returning safely to the homeowners.
This time of year with the holidays approaching and things like that, so these are always very difficult to be at.
An auto repair shop and RV park are on the property. Empting says the owners of the house that burned also owned this White House directly in front of it.
It got pretty hot, it blistered some siding, but the dwelling is still safe to occupy.
But for the buildings being so close, Brush says the smoke damage isn't too bad.
With as much heat as it was, most of the smoke was getting carried up and over.
This is the second house fire in the area. Just last week, a home in Horace, fully engulfed, was also ruled a total loss. Authorities say the cause of that fire is still unknown because of the extensive damage. While both fires don't have a cause, authorities want to remind everyone.
Be really, really careful of any heaters. I mean, we have no idea what the cause on this was, but it's that time of year where space heaters come out.
In Clay County, JC Dodd, Valley News Live.
We'll continue to bring you the latest on this story right here on Valley News Live. Concerned parents reached out to Cheney Middle School in the West Fargo School District this morning about the shooting threat that kept students home yesterday, saying the situation was not fully resolved. They say the initial threat referenced 5 individuals, but only 2 people were taken into custody. West Fargo Public Schools released a statement today saying the police are confident there are no further suspects in relation to the threat. They went on to say they would not have made the decision to return to on-site learning if there were still concerns from police about safety. Hutch joins us now with the first look at the forecast. Hutch?
Stacey, thanks so much. We do have some snow showers drifting from the northern Red River Valley into northwest Minnesota right now. We did get a few flakes here in the FM area, but nothing too substantial. A layer of slippery, though, on roads along and north of Highway 2 is likely tonight, particularly as you look up near the Kennedy area into Roseau County and eastern parts of Marshall County, Minnesota. Here's a look at the big picture. Clouds aplenty out there, and it's been pretty cool today, but temperatures are on the way up, and we have increasing wind tonight. So it's going to be increasingly windy. Those winds from the south will continue to boost temperatures. So take a look at what these temperatures are now and expect them to go up a couple of degrees between now and even after sunset. Snow showers and clouds in the forecast for tonight and even overnight. We'll have details on how much that could bring, and we're watching a more impactful winter weather event for the middle of next week and into your Thursday. First alert weather day declared. We'll have details in that forecast here in just a few moments.
All right, thanks so much, Hutch. New tonight at 5, a man who led police on a chase locked himself in a stranger's apartment. Grand Forks police say they tried to stop a man who was riding a bike on the road, obstructing traffic today in the 1300 block of Stanford Road. That's when they say he took off and went into an apartment in the 3500 block of 11th Avenue North. They say he locked himself in the bathroom, but after several minutes he came out. Clifford Bays was arrested for refusal to halt, burglary, and possession of drug paraphernalia. Also new at 5, 2 men are in jail for leading officers on a chase. Just before midnight on Tuesday, Moorhead police tried to stop a vehicle that was driving without headlights or taillights, but they say the driver took off at speeds reaching 100 miles per hour. When the vehicle crossed into Clay County, deputies helped out and started throwing items out of their car. When the driver drove around a roundabout, it gave a deputy time to conduct a pit maneuver. The vehicle entered a ditch, and Terrell Jones and Christopher Cloud were arrested. Meanwhile, a Fargo man was arrested after fleeing police in Moorhead and hitting a squad car. Officers tried to stop 39-year-old Scott Hart last night on 30th Avenue South and 17th Street. Stop sticks had to be used, and Hart's vehicle collided with a police car. He's being held on charges including fleeing and second-degree assault. A Valley City man is charged with attempted murder, and he's changed his plea to guilty. Alex Meridian is accused of shooting another man last February. The victim told police he woke up to find Meridian standing over him holding a pistol. Officials say the man was shot once in the abdomen and he has recovered. Meridian will be sentenced in February. Opening statements began today in the trial of a former Minnesota officer charged in the deadly shooting of Dante Wright. Kim Potter is facing first and second-degree manslaughter charges for shooting and killing Wright during a traffic stop after mistaking her gun for a taser.
She was the 26-year veteran. She was the officer in charge. And it was her job to show Officer Lucky how it's done. And what did she show him? She showed him how to kill someone.
Mr. Wright can stop. All he has to do is stop, and he'd be with us. But he goes. She can't let him leave because he's going to kill her partner. And so she does taser, 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 and she pulls the trigger, believing that it was a taser.
Potter has pleaded not guilty to all charges. She is expected to testify in her own defense during this trial. A female passenger who was in Wright's car at the time of the shooting is also expected to testify. Meanwhile, the jury in Jussie Smollett's trial is now deliberating. The prosecutor says there's overwhelming evidence that the former Empire actor lied to police about being the victim of an anti-gay racist attack, and his defense attorney said the charges are based on lies. Smollett insists there was no hoax, that the alleged attack by the two men was not staged. The head of the World Health Organization is urging countries to accelerate their vaccination programs to slow the spread of the Omicron variant. This comes as Pfizer says 3 doses of its vaccine appear to be effective against that new strain. Chris Pallone has this story from Washington.
The head of drug maker Pfizer acknowledges new laboratory tests show its COVID vaccine is less effective against the new Omicron variant for people who had just 2 shots without a booster. But add in that 3rd dose and protection appears to jump.
3 doses against Omicron are almost equivalent to the 2 doses effectiveness we had against the wild type, the original variant.
But that's not to say having 2 shots is worthless against Omicron, which has now been discovered in more than a third of the country. Scientists believe while 2 doses might not be enough to prevent a breakthrough infection, they would likely stop severe illness and death.
There is tremendous value compared to if you have only 1 or if you don't have any. Tremendous value.
President Biden praised the research.
If you get the booster, you're really in good shape.
But while Omicron could one day be the dominant COVID strain here, it's Delta which is driving the latest surge in hospitalizations and deaths. And just 6 states now account for the majority of the country's increase in hospital beds filled.
The bottom line lesson in all of this and the message is for those who are unvaccinated, please get vaccinated. And particularly for those who are fully vaccinated, get that booster shot because that makes a big difference.
While Moderna hasn't said how effective its vaccine is against Omicron, Fauci believes its test results will likely be similar to Pfizer's.
Moderna and Johnson & Johnson are expected to release their vaccine's lab results for Omicron in the coming days. The Build Back Better Act could help address issues plaguing our nation's school system. Schools across the country are already dealing with a teacher shortage. They're also struggling to fill other positions like cafeteria workers and bus drivers. Funds from the Build Back Better Act that are set aside for job training could help with these issues. One mom says she had to transfer her daughter to a new school because of a bus driver shortage.
I didn't ever think that it would be like, do I keep going to my boss and like, hey, I don't have a way for my child to get home because 1, the bus isn't running.
A survey from the National Association for Pupil Transportation found 51% of school districts classify their bus shortage as severe. Local officials are asking for your help spreading holiday cheer by dropping off food and toys for families across the valley in need. Officers from the North Dakota Highway Patrol as well as the Cass County Sheriff's Office will be at the 13th Avenue Walmart this Saturday to accept donations. They'll be stationed between the 2 entrances on the south side of the store. They'll be there from 8 in the morning until 6 at night. Later, here on Valley News Live at 5, there's a record number of job openings in the U.S. We'll tell you what's causing many to leave the workforce.
Throughout the day today, flakes were flying in the Devil's Lake Basin. They are now shifting off into northwest Minnesota. The purple you see here is some icy roads. Take it slow, a dose of slippery on area roads. A couple of accidents reported near Bemidji earlier. Oh, let there be light. Look at those sun pillars. Take a look at that. Your forecast is a little bumpy. All details next.
Valley